Testing audio check, testing one. All right, so what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I want to get directly into this video today, you guys, because today was a pretty good trading day for me. I made about 4% on my new 200K Alpha Capital account, you guys. Um, today today was a pretty good day to say the least. However, I have to be transparent with you guys. Recently I have pretty much been going through the ringer, and it's mainly because I just haven't been taking profits, man. Like if you guys look at the last screen that the screen that I made yesterday, I tried to buy, I bought those 3 Apex accounts, right? And I blew them up the same day. I will just be honest with you guys. And ultimately, it's just because of emotions, like I had a goal this year to not blow any accounts, right? That was my goal, was to not blow not one single account. And, it really didn't work the way that I wanted it to. And I think I just ended up putting too much pressure on myself, and ended up spiraling out of control. I lost my FTMO 100K funded account, right? I lost my Alpha Capital 100K funded account, and and I have blown more accounts than I care to admit this year. I pretty much have blown at least 5 accounts this year, right? So I was in this sale right now. You guys see the market is dropping off. I was in the sale, right? My keyboard is not working. Right, I was in this sale. I got stopped out right about here. I got stopped out in here. I tried to, trail my stop super aggressive. They came and stopped me out, kept it going, which is unfortunate because that would have added like another 5 or 6 thousand to my new phase one 200K account, right? But I'm not really trying to really worry about that too much. I just want to break down the trades that I took today, you guys. As you guys can see, the market is still melting. I'm wondering how far do we want to go on a 4-hour chart. I'm wondering if it wants to go all the way down here and take out this low on the 4-hour time frame. Right? I don't know if it's going to want to do all of that, but based on what price is doing right now, it seems as if it could want to do something like that, right? This 5-minute order block right here that I'm going to box up, I'm looking to see if this is going to want to hold, but based on how deep it's going into that 5-minute order block, I really just can't trust it, right? It's really hard for me to want to trust that, especially with it already being 11:50. So just going to take you guys through some of the trades for today, right? So I started off on the hourly time frame today, and my initial trades were from, right, I was using this swing low right here on the hourly time frame as a stop loss, right? And the reason why I was using this as a stop loss is because we had a swing low right here on the hourly time frame. You guys can see every time the market broke below this swing low, the body came and closed above, right? So that was giving me the idea that the market will likely want to keep going up for the day, right? So I was originally I had a stop loss right here, and I was taking profits. I was taking profits really early, but this was my target up here, right? Because I was anticipating this 1-hour gap up here to be a breakaway gap. So I figured that the market was at least bare minimum was going to want to come up here and sweep this high right here on the 1-hour time frame, and come up here, touch the new day opening gap. That's exactly what it did. But I wasn't really able to hold for that entire move, but I did scalp it, right? I just kept scalping it, and I'll drop down into the lower time frames to show you guys how I was scalping it, right? So on a 1-minute time frame, and this market is just melting. It's very unfortunate because I was in that sale too. I was definitely in that sale. I wish I would have just held it a little bit longer, but because of the time of day and everything else, I started to feel like I was over trading. So my first trade came from, and then I'm also going to put a orange line on this 1 hour low right here. I'm going to put an orange line so you guys can understand where my stop loss was at as we drop down into the 1 minute time frame, right? So I was getting the entries in here off of the new week opening gap, right? I was getting entries in here off of the new week opening gap. And I first sold right into strength right up here, right? Because I seen that it was a 1 minute order block. I sold into strength and I was happy because the market came all the way back down. And then, I was thought about taking it again, but as you guys can see from the time, it was about 9:48. So I really didn't really know what the market wanted to do at the time, even though, I had an idea of what I wanted to see. But because I've been getting smacked so much lately, I didn't really know if the market was going to respect my ideas or not, right? And you guys can see like this trade would have been, easily going all the way up here. This trade, the risk to reward on this trade was phenomenal, right? Almost a 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So that is why I felt so comfortable taking that first trade. But like I told you guys, I took my first profits right there because, I made almost a 3-to-1 on that first trade. So I didn't really want to get greedy. And on my 200K account, that put me up about 4,700. And now look at the market. It's quickly reversing right there. So I'm going to pay attention to this because this may actually be a potential trade idea right here. All right, this may actually be a potential trade idea. Give me 1 second, you guys. I may have to take this. I know I just said I was over trading, and to be honest with you, I definitely am, but this could be a run on liquidity for the afternoon session. So I want to pay attention because I was just telling you guys I was looking for that 5 minute. I was looking for this 5 minute right here. I was looking for this gap to hold. The bodies didn't close overly clean, but this is looking like it could possibly go all the way back up. So let me see. And this could possibly be a 4-to-1 risk to reward. Real skeptical on taking it, but the trade will have to look something like this if I did take it. Put my stop loss in here, see if I can get all the way back up here up top. All right, and that's almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward. So I'm going to wait. I'm sorry, I was trying to explain something to you guys real fast, but I want to see if this is going to continue up right here. Okay, I'm going to enter right here. And I'm risking about 1,000 to make 4,000 on this trade. So let's see if this trade pans out. If this trade don't pan out, then I'm just done for the day. Because like I said, at this point I'm over trading. Already made 4% on the day. I shouldn't really be taking the trade, especially for the afternoon session. All right, a safer stop loss would be this right here. And I may actually move it right there. I'm going to move it right there just to be safe. So let's see. I might be getting faked out right here. Let's see. I may be getting faked out right here, but let's see. I've moved my stop a little bit, made it a little bit safer. I would prefer to see this gap stay open. All right, I would prefer to see this gap stay open right here. This should be a breakaway gap if this is going to continue to go up. But let's see what happened right here. Then we can get back to breaking down the trades, right? This is definitely over trading. And this is exactly what I mean. Like lately, I haven't really had the discipline that I have wanted to have, I think I can find good trades. I think I can find good trade setups, but really the discipline haven't been there. So let's see what happens right here. Definitely in some down draw. Let's see if we at least want to get a push back up to this high right here, right? At least one of these highs, we should be getting a push back up into one of these highs. All right, so see this high. We have a high right here because this is the afternoon run on liquidity that ICT teaches in his mentorship. And these are things you can see a lot as you back test. So that's why I stopped everything that I was saying, because if you guys follow my channel, you guys know that I'm always looking for these type of moves, right? These breakaway gaps. So price haven't hit into this breakaway gap just yet, but I don't really like how it just magically stopped going up like that. I don't really like that at all. So that's not really giving me the type of insurance that I need that this is going to be a good trade. But win or lose, I'm up about 4%. So if I lose 1% on this trade, I'm not mad about it at all. So we're going to see how this plays out. All right, we're going to see how this plays out right here. I would have preferred to see this thing keep going when I entered, but let's see if it's going to pop back up. If it don't give me the type of price action that I want, I'm just probably going to end up closing, because like I said, this is not a good time to be taking trades, right? Normally I'm supposed to be done at 11:30, but like I said, recently I haven't really been disciplined the way that I want to be disciplined. Let's see if we're going to get a afternoon run on some liquidity. Don't seem as though we will. So I'm going to put my stop loss back up here just so I can, if I get stopped out, I'll just lose less, right? So I'm going to put my stop loss back right there. If they take me out, so be it, right? Because it looked like they may keep it going down a little bit more and trick me. This could be one of those fake out breakaway gaps that I talk about all the time. All right, bam, right there I got stopped out. So that they got me with the fake out breakaway gap. And that's why you just don't trade during these times of the day, right? So that's pretty much my last trade. So now I'm up about 6,500 on my 200K account, right? I'm officially done for the day. That was a complete degenerate trade, I'll be honest. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. Like, I just really haven't been disciplined the way that you really need to be disciplined in order to have success, like for the long term with these prop firm accounts, The thing about these prop firm accounts, and especially if you're trading on a futures account, right, you have to be very consistent. You can't really make too many mistakes. Like right there, I gave back, let me see, let me see, I got to open. I think I gave back about at least $1,000, right? 1,200 or so. But luckily I just got out of there because then it would have been an even bigger loss, right? So I gave back 1,400 on that. It was no reason for me to give back 1,400 right there, right? Just being a complete degenerate. So let's talk about some of the other trades that I took. I'm going to delete this blue box right here. So right here, you guys can see that I have my first presented fair value gap on my chart, right? That's this blue box right here. You guys can see I labeled it first presented fair value gap, right? And then, so as we broke above, mind you, I had already taken my scalp. So at this point, I'm just waiting for a pullback. So long story short, I did, I was taking these. I missed this first one. This first one was the best one, in my opinion, because we hit this order block. We ran all the way up. I missed that one, but I did catch all of these other smaller bounces, right? And I was using this as a stop loss. All right, so I was using this as a stop loss down here. And every time the market came down and bounced into this first presented fair value gap, I took the trade every time, almost. And I just pretty much scalped it, right? And then after a while, I got tired of scalping it. And then it started to, look a little bit choppy in here. Even when it came down this time, I didn't take it no longer. And I think I actually did take this one. No, you know what? I was late on this one. So when it came all the way down this time around, I thought that it was going to possibly sweep these two lows, but it didn't. And then it made the breakaway gap that I was just showing you guys right here, right? Same type of pattern right here, except this one was the fake out breakaway gap. They got me together with that one, right? But that's why I always tell you guys, if you're going to use the breakaway gap strategy, always wait for the market to confirm that it's a breakaway gap. So you guys can see right here, right? You guys can see right here, the market confirmed that this was a breakaway gap. So if I box this little gap up, you will see that the market did not touch this zone, right? It looked like it touched it, but it didn't touch that zone, right? So that confirmed that it was a breakaway gap. And then the only thing I did after that was on a 5-minute chart, right? On a 5-minute chart, this little gap right here, right? This is going to be a gap on a 5-minute chart. So as we continue to go up, I wanted to see this gap stay open. And I essentially took the trade somewhere in here and then rolled that baby up as much as I could. Eventually, they stopped me out for profits, and then I was done, right? And then the last trade that I took right here was after we hit the new day opening gap. And this is why I tell you guys, this is how I use ICT concepts, right? I don't really notice what's on my chart. I don't really have to use all of these little smaller gaps every time, right? I'm looking for price to go into these significant levels like right here and then have a reaction. So right here, once we sold off, the only thing I had to do from there was put my Fibonacci from swing high, which is up here, swing high, down to the swing low, which is down here. And then I waited for the market to come into a discount zone, which is going to be above that yellow line. And then my trade was like this right here, right? I used this because now this is going to be a breakaway gap. This little zone in here is going to be a breakaway gap. So I pretty much took the trade like this, and I had my stop loss pretty much. I think I had it right here just to be safe, right? Sometimes you can put it right at the bottom, but if you really want to be safe, you could put it at the top of the gap, right? And then I was looking for the market to do exactly what it did, but because I was over trading at this point, I was already up about 7,000 or 8,000 or something like that. I don't really remember. Because I was over trading, I was demanding that the market keep going down and keep going down really fast. So when we broke past this swing low that's in here, I wanted to see it keep going down. So I put my stop loss right above here. And then I got stopped out. And as you guys can see, the market kept going, right? And it looked like it wanted to keep going again, but I'm not going to fall for it twice right there. But as you guys can see, this trade alone would have been, a one, almost a 1 of 5. So I'm showing you guys these trades because, recently I've been beating myself up trying to get everything to hit TP. Right, I've been really beating myself up trying to get everything to hit take profit, and I've been holding trades. I've been up. Like I said, just go look at the screen from yesterday. You guys will see on those Apex accounts, I was up almost $900 on my first trade. Didn't take it, and then I got reversed on and got stopped out. That made me emotional, and then that led to me essentially blowing the accounts, right? So today, even though I knew where the market was going, I was like, just take profits, right? Because just look at all of this chop in here. So even if you catch it at the lows down there, you got to sit through all of this stuff before it eventually hit Profitville right here. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not sitting through all of that. So recently the market conditions have been like, I would say it haven't been too bad, but it's a market that favors taking profits is what I will say, right? You have to just go ahead and take profits. I went on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster because on my Alpha Capital account, I was only $2,100 away from taking like an $8,000 payout, and I ended up going into drawdown, trying to get too fancy, holding trades for too long, and then eventually I just ended up blowing my entire account. All right, so that really wasn't pretty, and that was like a lack of discipline on my behalf. Right, big lack of discipline on my behalf. And as someone who has been trading for 7 years, I just feel like I have to do better. There's no excuses on why I'm blowing accounts and I'm getting $2,100 away from a payout, and then I just go on a crash out and just blow the entire account. That's not what you want to do, right? But in my defense, you guys, like, last year was my first ever break-even year as a trader, right? And last year was also my first time ever, taking a payout. So I got multiple payouts with Funder Pro. You guys can go watch that video down below. And by the way, I think I'm giving up on Funder Pro. Funder Pro, they paid me out, which is something that I do respect. So I can at least give them that credit and say, hey, they did pay me out. However, I feel like the spreads, it's something wrong with Funder Pro accounts. I feel like the spreads are just absolutely ridiculous. And then I also feel, I don't know, man. It's just something about it that I don't like, right? So I'm giving up on Funder Pro, you guys. The link for them will no longer be in my description below. And I am going to keep you guys updated on everything about Funder Pro, you guys, because you guys know, even though I'm an affiliate, right? My loyalty is with you guys, right? Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you guys my honest experience. So, like I said, I did get paid by Funder Pro. So, Funder Pro, if you're hearing this, I have nothing against you, right? You paid me out when it was time. I still feel like they don't have all of these crazy rules. Like, there's no consistency rule over there. That's what attracted me to Funder Pro in the first place. But when you go on Trustpilot, there's a lot of bad reviews. Like, and there's even a warning sign. So moving forward, I think I'm just going to stay away from companies that have like those warning signs and all of the crazy stuff that's going on. I really don't want to be a part of that. All right, so my goal is just to get funded again with this 200K account that I just recently got. And then just try to be as consistent as possible on this account. take payouts, and then as I get more payouts, buy more accounts, right? And eventually, I do want to get better as well with Alpha Capital, right? I mean, I'm sorry, not Alpha Capital, but with Apex, and just with futures accounts alone, right? One thing I hate about Apex is like you literally can't over leverage at all with Apex, and obviously you shouldn't be over leveraging at all. But you really can't do it with Apex. And then the other thing about Apex, you have to take profits every time. Even if you have a target in mind, you have to take profits. And the reason being is because even if you're up on your trade, as price moves up and down, it's going to affect your trailing drawdown. And I know a lot of you guys already know how to manage that, right? The goal is to obviously make the drawdown so your account becomes static first. And then, you can start trying to hold for your take profits after you make the account static. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this year. I don't hate Apex. I don't hate any future company. I just feel like I struggle more with futures accounts, right? And I feel like I get more bang for my buck with two steps. And the thing that I wonder the most is like, why don't all companies allow traders to have options? I feel like every company should have Forex, futures, and crypto. And that's why I love Hola Prime. That's why I love E8 Markets, right? My description is in the link below if you guys want to go check those people out. Make sure to always use code KRACKEN, right? But I wonder, why don't all companies offer every possible account? And obviously, I think that it's a cash grab, you know, because a lot of traders, they're not really going to be able to navigate those Apex accounts. Just to be honest with you guys, a lot of traders are not going to be able to navigate those accounts. All right, so going back to the 5-minute, this 5-minute order block should hold price up. All right, this 5-minute order block should hold price. It's just unfortunate that it dipped into this order block at the time in which it did, because now I really can't trust it. But if it would have, when we was trading our session, if it would have came here to sweep this liquidity, I'm sorry, let me remove this. If it would have came here before it touched this zone up here, if it would have came here to sweep this and hit this order block right there, I would have easily felt more comfortable taking that trade. But now it's really hard to trust this 5-minute order block, right? Also, because on a 1-hour time frame, well, the 1-hour time frame is still valid. But like I said, I was looking for this to be a breakaway gap. We went right up into this zone, and then we did get a rejection. So it's just a matter of waiting at this point. The only thing I would do if I was going to continue to trade, which, like I said, I'm probably done for today, but I would measure out this wick on a 1-hour time frame. Measure this wick out. You guys can see we hit the midpoint of this wick right here on a 1-hour. And now we are rejecting away. That's why I tried to take a buy, right? That's why I tried to take a buy right there, but you guys see they faked me out on my buy. But what I'm thinking is that if the market wants to continue to go up for the evening session, which I don't really think it will, at the bare minimum, I think we may at least hit the midpoint of this new day opening gap. So let's drop back into the 1 minute, because it seemed like, now after they stopped me out, it seemed like now it's going back up. But like I said, I'm going to have some discipline today, something that I've been lacking these past few weeks. And I'm not really going to try to take, any more trades for today. But this is what I wanted to happen when I took this trade right here. You guys can see it. If I would have put my stop loss down here below this low, I would have been all right. But I was demanding that the market keep going because, you know, if it's going to stop me out, I don't want to be in and just be in down draw forever and ever. So I'd rather take the smaller loss and then call it a day, right? So let's look at the 5-minute time frame. And what I would do now, if I was trying to buy this for the afternoon session, which I'm not, but we have to be aware of our range, be aware of where discount is at. I keep using the wrong tool. I'm looking for my Fibonacci tool. We can measure out from swing high up here, measure to swing low, which is down here, right? Down here. We put it from swing high to swing low. And then that on the 1 minute is the midpoint of our range, right? So we can expect price to at least go into a discount zone, but we don't know when it's going to happen. And then obviously timing is everything, right? So I'm just going to be patient right now. Don't want to get into a trade at 12.19, especially after it has been a good day, right? If I'm up about 3.5% on the day, or just about 3.5%. So I can just be done, have some discipline, get my emotions in check. All right, on the 2-minute time frame, we have a little order block right here that price may want to go into. All right, and then it's also the same thing on the 3-minute. So price may just want to go up 20 more points or so. That's not really, that's not really worthwhile right there. So all in all, it was a good day. Just trying to bounce all of my accounts back. Or not all of my, I only have one account right now. So I'm just trying to bounce back, get funded again, start, being more consistent, and then start getting some consistent payouts, right? And stop trading emotional. Stop being an emotional trader. Stop, because for me, I haven't even really been over leveraging. I just been over trading, and over trading is damn near the same thing as over leveraging, in my opinion. All right, so price is definitely going up. Now it wants to keep going up after, it faked me out, but that's okay. So if you guys would be kind to drop a like on this video, I would greatly appreciate that. I just wanted to go live for a quick second and give you guys an update on how I was doing. I wanted to go live during the morning session, but I had to deliver a load, and I wasn't able to go live. So it's unfortunate. Every time I do good trading, I never get a chance to really show you guys. But that's okay, right? I'm going to be doing more live streams in the future anyways. I just wanted to come here and kick it with you guys briefly and break down some of my trades that I took today to be up 6,500, right? It was 8,000 until I took that recent loss, but so we're going to get funded again. I have nothing but confidence that we're going to get funded again. Just have to be patient about it. So shout out to the people who have dropped a like on my videos. I really appreciate you guys. And shout out to the people who use my code KRACKEN. A lot of you guys have been using it with E8 markets and Apex. Um, and I really do appreciate that. Every time I'm live, I want to give you guys a shout out because, that really means a lot. So we're going to see if price just wants to continue to go up from here. I don't really trust it. It's been like doing a lot of back and forth all day, so I can't really trust it right now. But I'm probably going to end this stream, you guys. I still have like an hour or so drive till I can make it home. Then, if I have enough energy in me, I may do like a PM stream, but honestly, I'm exhausted. Sometimes you got to step away from the charts. So you guys see me try to take this buy. They stopped me out, and now it's going up without me. So that's trading for you sometimes, I thought we was going to get a push right back up with some speed, but apparently not, and that's okay. That's why you have to manage your risk properly and be willing to accept the loss for what it is. Yo, what's good, Connor? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for joining, tapping in. Yeah, we just chilling. You know, most of the time, like almost 100% of the time, I do not trade the afternoon session. So I'm just here watching price action. You know, I may keep this stream going up until at least 3 p.m. But like I said, I'm already up on the day, so I definitely don't want to, continue to trade, especially after we have already pretty much hit all of my key targets. I don't really think we're going to do too much more outside of, what we have already seen the market do today. But if y'all have any other charts y'all want me to look at while I'm here, make sure, drop a comment down below. Right now we're looking at the NASDAQ future chart, MNQH2026. That's the chart that we're looking at. You guys can see how sometimes, these zones, and this is why I use the zones that I use. I use first presented fair value gap. You guys can see up here why I use the new day opening gap. And then you guys can see down here why I use the new week opening gap, right? These are primarily the gaps that you want to use when you're using ICT concepts, right? Look how we got a lot of respect from this new week opening gap. As the market opened, we shot right on up to where the new day opening gap. Right? And then, as I said earlier in the video, on the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to be looking for this zone right here, this little gap right here, to be a breakaway gap. And the reason why I'm going to look for that to be a breakaway gap is because notice how we're making lower highs, right? We made a high right here after we hit this new week opening gap from February the 11th, and then we wasn't able to get up above this high again. And then, so that's going to tell us what? That this is probably going to be a breakaway gap. You see we sold off from here. And that's the only reason why I'm even still looking at the market is because I'm wondering if we do, pick up some good action, for the evening session, this little order block right here, I'm wondering if we want to get up there to this order block. Right? I don't know if it's going to do all of that today. I think that it probably won't, but that's pretty much what I'm wondering, right? Because obviously we have some highs up here. That's going to be liquidity. And then, we have been respecting this weekly rejection block. If we go to the weekly time frame, right? If we go to this weekly time frame in here, you guys can see that I boxed up this weekly wick right here. I always tell you guys about the wick. I teach about the wicks pretty much in every one of my videos. We hit this wick, so and we reject it. We came down one more time, hit it again, and then we reject it again, right? So that's why I really wasn't looking for sales today. So the next question is, where do we possibly want to go? Well, we already swept the weekly low right here, which makes me believe that the price is likely going to want to continue to go up, right? Based on how everything has been playing out. That's on the weekly time frame. Right? The daily, it's not really giving us the most information. But on the daily, what I would definitely look for today is measuring out this wick right here. If price don't want to continue to go up, and if it's going to just start crashing down, we want to measure out this wick right here on the daily. Right? So let me point my arrow to the wick that I just measured, this wick right here. Right? We want to measure this out, and then the midpoint of this wick could possibly be a target. And then we do have a swing low right here, right? Maybe we don't get all the way down to the midpoint today, but it could possibly generate some liquidity for tomorrow or the coming weeks, right? So that's something that I'm going to be watching for right there. But like I said, I'm not really interested in trying to trade. I'm just pretty much hanging out with you guys just to see what's going to happen, right, for the PM session. Let's see where the market is trying to go. All right, so now I want to see. I was not expecting the market to drop down right there, but I'm wondering if this could have been a possible buy right here. It's too early to tell, and the timing is horrible, but I'm wondering if it's going to come down here and respect this 5-minute order block. I don't really, so far I haven't really respected it so far, so this is not really a trade I would feel comfortable with. But sometimes smart money is like they're known for doing this, where they drop the market down a lot, make people think it's just going to keep going down, and then they're going to be entering a trade where most people are going to be too scared to enter the trade. So right there, we're getting a bounce off of this new week opening gap. That is very beautiful right there. Very, very beautiful. We want to see more, we want to see more green candles right here. I did take the trade. The risk to reward was just far too good for me not to take it. But it's not a trade that I'm overly excited about. But so far, these green candles are definitely making me excited. So I'm going to move my stop loss into profits just to be safe. All right, I'm going to move my stop loss pretty much right here. Right where that orange line is at. So that's where my stop loss is at. If we get stopped out, that's perfectly fine. It's not really a trade that I was overly in love with anyways. But just in case the market decides to, go all the way down here and keep going, I wanted to see if I can test it out. Right there, I just got stopped out right there. So, made about 180 on that trade. I would have preferred to see the market keep going, but it's not a trade that I'm overly in love with. But we did tap into that new week opening gap again right there. I'm trying to figure out what are you saying? You said best viewers. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Let me see. I'm gonna have to go to Twitch real quick to see what you guys are saying. I'm glad I got out of that trade right there because that's disgusting right there. Let me see. I'm on Twitch. Delec Abel said best viewers best viewers screenboo.com. I don't know, what did that mean? So it's looking like the market is going to continue to go to the downside. The best thing to do at this point is just to wait for these hourly lows right here, right? If the market sweep these hourly lows and then close above, then, we probably going to continue to go back up. But based on all of this price action, it don't look like we're going to continue to go up, honestly. It look like it's going to start coming down to sweep out some of this liquidity. Then you guys remember I literally just told y'all this yellow line right here is the midpoint of that daily wick right here, right? This yellow line right here. So price could, it could want to come down and hit that. We don't really know for sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what the hourly time frame give us, right? On a 5-minute time frame, if this thing is going to continue to the downside on a 5-minute time frame, let me see, what do we have on a 5-minute? We don't really have a range on a 5-minute time frame yet. Right, but we almost have a range. Yeah, so like I said, very choppy price action. It's hard to really know what to do. But so far, price have went below where your stop loss would have been for this 5-minute order block right here. So that have already invalidated that 5-minute order block, which means that we're likely to keep going to the downside. Now we can double check the 15-minute as well. We are sweeping some liquidity, but so far it just looked like it want to continue to go to the downside. Could be wrong though. Maybe it just took out that low just to go back up. We don't know. This is why we don't trade in between, 12 and 1 p.m., right? We don't pick up trading again until the evening session because, look, I was just in this buy right here, and then they would have stopped me out and then just to, bring it back up. So that alone should be telling you that there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. So it's looking like it's going to go sweep those lows on the 1 hour where my orange lines are. I would definitely appreciate that, bro. If you want to share me on Kick, man, I would definitely appreciate that. You said your Discord. Drop. Let me see if I can drop your link on the Kick. I'm gonna go on Kick right now and see if I can add you on Discord. Yeah, drop it on. Dang, I wasn't expecting this market to reject like that from that 3 minute fair value gap. That's crazy. But yeah, drop your Discord link either on my YouTube channel, my Facebook, or yeah, drop it somewhere where I can find it. Even drop it on Kick. If you drop the link on Kick, I can see it on there as well. Man, for sure, bro. Definitely getting this community up, man. Shout out and thanks for tuning in, man. Dropping in. I'm honestly just chilling right now, man. Like I did good during the morning session, and I figured there's probably a couple more moves left in the day. So I was like, man, let me just go live real quick, spend some time with the community, see what y'all up to. Like I said, if y'all want to look at any other charts, just let me know. Leave a comment down below. Hey, and thanks for dropping a like on the video too, bro. Like that means a lot, man. So many people come in and out off the video, they don't even drop a like. Shout out to you for dropping a like on this video, man. Definitely appreciate that. So I boxed up that 3 minute fair value gap right here, you guys. This red box on my chart. I found this from the 3 minute time frame. And then we pretty much just used our Fibonacci tool from swing high to swing low. 50% of that zone was up here where this fair value gap was at. Now the market is selling off. So I didn't take that sell, but I did put it on the chart just for learning purposes. And now it look like we're getting ready to go down there and sweep this low on a 1 hour time frame. So where these two yellow lines are, so now we pretty much want to see on a 1 hour time frame where my two I say yellow but they're orange lines, where I put my two orange lines at. We're going to want to see on a 1 hour time frame, do this 1 hour candle want to close above or below those swing lows right there. Right, do we want to close above or below? But like I said earlier, it's looking like the market wants to continue to go down. I'm just trying to be as patient as possible. More than likely, I'm not going to take a trade for the evening session, but if something is like really obvious and I like the way it looked, then I'll I don't mind putting on a little bit of risk. I wasn't expecting the market to drop 100 points within like 7 or 8 minutes right there. That's pretty crazy. Man, I really love the people over there on Kick, man. Like the people on Kick, bro. Y'all are W people, man. Cause like y'all always come over, drop likes, leave comments, man. Like I respect y'all a lot. Shout out to the whole entire Kick platform, man. Like the Kick platform is pretty cool. Shout out to y'all over there. Are any of you guys traders over there, or are you guys just watching for entertainment, or do you guys trade? If you do trade, what do you trade, and do you use prop firms at all? Right. So notice how after we swept those lows on the 1 hour time frame, right, we're starting to have a little bit of a rejection away. That's not really significant at the moment, but obviously we want to continue to see if price is going to go down, right? It should continue to make lower highs, right? So you see we had a high right here, we had a high right there, we had a high here, we came up, swept that liquidity, and then made a lower high right here, right? So now we're going to do the same thing we've been doing, measuring out our ranges on a 1 minute time frame. And then you guys can see right there, we went right into this fair value gap right here on the 1 minute, and then now we're rejecting it once again, right? So as long as the market continue to, respect all of these bearish fair value gaps, then for sure we're going to continue to go down. And then I told you guys earlier where the target could possibly be on a downside. We measured out this wick on the daily time frame, right? We measured out this wick on the daily, and then the midpoint of that could be a target, or the quarter level, right? the quarter level, or depending on how you measure it, right? It could be either be the 75% level or the quarter level, but essentially it would be the quarter level, right? Which is right below this swing low right here that's on a 4-hour time frame. So those could be potential areas if we continue to drop down. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. That's why we haven't really done anything yet. I typically don't like to, if I do trade the evening session, I like to wait for 1:30 to start looking for trades. Because if if you try to get in too quick, then you're just probably going to get faked out, right? We can look at some other time frames just to make sure we're not missing out on anything, any information that's going to be key. But so far, on the 15-minute, we do have, right, on the 15-minute, we have a swing high up here. We can measure this out. This is going to be a potential swing low. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us come all the way back up here, right? We have these 3 green candles. That is going to make an order block right there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if price wanted to come back and hit that order block, which is also where our first presented fair value gap is at for the day, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So if we do start to work our way back up, which it seems like that's what's going to happen right here, I think, this zone right here, it's likely that price is going to go up all the way up into this little gap right here. This gap is likely that we could go up, and then we possibly even may want to reject one more time and then eventually start to climb our way back up. So we're going to keep our eye on that. So far, like I said, this isn't really my trading session. The evening sessions aren't really that volatile. It can give you moves, but sometimes it can give you a lot of fake outs too. So that's why I'm not that much of a fan of the evening session. But like I said earlier, I'm just here pretty much to hang out with the community, see what you guys are up to. If y'all have anything y'all want to talk about, any charts y'all want to look at, leave a comment down below. See something right here. Just want to see if this is an actual range. Not really nothing I'm interested in right there. Just wanted to check that out. I mean, gosh, man, this market isn't doing anything. This is why normally I don't even waste my time with the evening session. You know, it did give us a decent little sell off right here. 100 points within like 8 minutes, but I didn't catch that. But now it's right back to the chop. It's right back to chopping around. So very interesting. Man, this market is doing absolutely nothing. So it's all right. You know, we don't do nothing. When the market does nothing, we do nothing. It's just as simple as that. All right, we're getting a little bit of action right here. We're getting a little bit of action. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I think if we're going to continue to go back down, I think that we may bounce off of this right here, this gap right here a little bit, and then drop back down, or we could just continue to go up right now, maybe touch that first presented fair value gap, and then continue to drop back off. So we're going to see. This is not a sell that I would be really interested in taking, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens right here. Maybe we just want to run out some liquidity, but we're still going to be using this 3-minute fair value gap, right? As long as price stay below this line, this 3-minute fair value gap is going to likely hold price down. So let's see what happened right here. Do we want to continue to just start to come back up, or are we going to go back down one more time and sweep those lows? Let's see. So, like as a hypothetical trade, let's say, if you was to get in right now, let me see, just to see what the risk to reward would be on this trade. Stop loss will have to be up there. Take profit. That's almost a 3-to-1. So, that could work. Let's see what happens right here. Just because it's 150, I do think it's going to possibly drop back down and sweep out some lows one more time. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this, or if we was selling, right, we don't want to see price bounce off of this inversion fair value gap, right? We don't want to see price bounce off of that. So we want to see these 1-minute candles start to break right back below this inversion and then come back down, right? So let's see what happens right here. This could be a potential trade idea. So far it's acting like it wants to respect this inversion, but I don't really trust this inversion right here. I don't really trust it just yet. But so far prices, it looks like it wants to go back up. But I don't trust it. I think it's going to go back down, to be honest. So at the very least, because we're now getting a look right there, bam. So that's why we didn't take that trade. That was a hypothetical, right? But right there, we should be seeing off the 15-minute I was telling you guys about. Let's see if we're gonna how far we want to dig into this 15-minute. But we just got the close above the 1 hour time frame, right? Even though we didn't take a trade because I didn't really like where price was at, but this was kind of telling us that maybe it wanted to keep going. The way the way that these bodies was closing off of this inversion down here. But like I said, I'm probably not going to be trading the evening session, you guys. My work is done for the day. My work is done for the day. But we did sweep these hourly lows, and then we closed above. So if we're going to possibly go back up, we want to wait for a 5-minute candle to close so we can have a swing high. And then but like I said, I don't, this evening session, there's something about it. I just don't really trust it, to be honest. So let's make sure this candle right there. See, I don't really trust it, but definitely wouldn't be trying to sell. But let me see. This is another hypothetical. If you're watching, obviously don't take this trade. I got to make sure I tell y'all that because I know y'all be trying to follow everybody trade. But I'm just looking at this risk to reward ratios. I definitely think it's going to keep going a little bit higher, but it's hard to really tell, honestly. Let's see. Watching from the 5-minute time frame. I just don't trust it. It's hard for me to trust the sell, hard for me to trust the buy, but at least, on a 1 hour, we did close above, right? So we did get a swing failure on a 1 hour time frame. So that's trying to tell us that it wants to go up, but I just don't trust it. The evening session is so crazy. right, let's drop down into the 1 minute, see what price is doing. Definitely wouldn't be looking for sales. I only have this box on my chart just to see what the risk to reward was if I was to take a hypothetical, but it's just too choppy for me, man. But on the 1 minute, let me see. We did close above this swing high on the 1 minute. And on the 3 minute, we closed above this swing high too. So it looks like it wants to keep going up. It's just hard to really tell. All right. I think, if you was going to look for a sell, I think the obvious, I called out the 15-minute time frame plenty of times already, but I think this would have to be the safest stop loss all the way up there. That's why I said it's hard to try to find a sell in all of this type of price action. And if you're using that as a stop loss, like now it's only not even a 1 or 2. So let's see how far we want to go. It's crazy because it's like I don't trust to buy, I don't trust to sell. I don't feel like I could trust anything. But obviously, if I was going to look for a sell, I would have to wait for it to hit that first presented at the very least, and then that would make the risk to reward a 2 to 1. But let me see. Okay, if it hit the top of that first presented, that's almost a 3 to 1 back to the lows. But just we're not in the trade. I'm just trying to see like a potential trade, trying to figure out what the market wants to do. Look at the 10-minute time frame. Is there anything that we're missing on the 10-minute? Not really. how choppy this is, you guys. It's like that's why I was saying, even if you was buying, it's like, how do you even buy and feel comfortable? So it's really hard to tell what's going to happen. But I think it's respecting. Let me update my chart, by the way. I think it's at least trying to respect this 15-minute order block right there. It touched the lower part of it, and then it rejected away. But I still think it's going to continue to go higher, to be honest. I think the first presented fair value gap is going to be somewhere to possibly take a sell. Like I said, it's really hard to know what's going to happen. It's only 212, but at least on a 1 hour time frame, we did get a swing failure down here, right? So the swing failure pretty much means that we had a swing low right here, we had a swing low right there where my orange lines are. Price did come below here, and then we rejected away, right? So that's telling us that price wants to go up at least for the next hour or so. We did get a swing high. Finally got our swing high on a 5 minute. So, if we was going to try to look to take this market back up, we would have to wait for it to drop into a discount. So the trade would have to look something like that, right? And honestly, I don't trust buys. I don't trust sells. I'm really not even trying to trade the evening session. This is all just for learning purposes, right? So don't take any of these trades, right? That could be a potential buy, but for me personally, it's not like the sexiest trade ever. So I think the another thing that you could note as well is the midpoint of this 15-minute wick right here. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see price want to at least go up into the midpoint of this wick that we just measured out right there. So let me see. It could be something like that. Like I said, not taking any trades. This is all just hypothetical for learning purposes. You know, this little gap right here could continue to act as a breakaway gap. So far, it's acting as a breakaway gap. So, you know, um, but like I said, that's why it's so hard for me to find a trade because I don't really think I could find a trade. You know, if we measure out this swing low to swing high, you know, it just don't look that good to me. Let me look at this on a 5 minute. I think, yeah, let's make sure we watch this on a 5 minute time frame. It's like it's weird because I'm looking at the market and I'm thinking, okay, if we get a pullback to go back up, that could be a possible idea. But also on a 5 minute, now that I look at it, right, because all of these four green candles are going to make one order block right here, right? So obviously, our the safest stop loss would be all the way up here. right? Could take a sale somewhere, but we just have to wait, you know. If this, let me see, but looking at it from this range right here, I guess none of those qualify as swing lows, so we can't even really look at it from that range. So if we measure out this entire range, we're already in a premium. Yeah, just gotta wait. I think, you know, it's nothing to do for now. It just don't seem like anything is clear cut enough for me to really get in there. I mean, obviously it's going up, but it's not doing anything with speed. All right. Now, so we have a couple things that to look at, and then also this little right where our first presented at, there's the inversion right up in there as well. So we don't really have to box that up because the first presented is inside of that inversion. But those are essentially the things that I'm looking for right now. See what price really wants to do. All right, then we can also look at other time frames too, like the 6 minute, right? We could look at the 7 minute just to make sure we're not really missing anything, any information. Right? People don't really use these time frames, but like right here on a 9 minute time frame, there's a little gap right there. So something like that could give you a lot of information because look at how the prices are closing on the 9 minute time frame. All right, it's not that good. So just have to be aware of everything. And look, as soon as I found that gap, now the market is reversing right off of that gap. So it's crazy. That's why you have to really pay attention to everything when you're trading. You can't just be on one time frame thinking that, you know, you just automatically know what's going on. Just because it's uptrending, that don't mean that the market makers won't just fake you out. And like all it take is, you know, 7 or 8 1 minute candles to get all the way back down here to the lows, right? That's why I say I'm not really interested in trading. I'm just here for learning purposes. So, I mean, just look at that. As soon as we found the 9 minute gap, that's why I say, it was hard for me to try to buy because if I'm buying, it has to be because I think it's going to actually go to my take profit, and it has to be at least a 1 to 3 risk to reward. There wasn't any 1 to 3s. That's why I was using my tools just to see what was what, right? It wasn't because I was in a trade or anything, but I was using it like this just to see, okay, as a hypothetical, what could possibly happen, right? Like even this sell right here, even if it go all the way back down to the lows, that's only a 1 to 2. Now maybe if this was the New York session, I could maybe trust this gap right here, put my stop loss right there. That makes it almost a 1-7. But can we really trust that? No, I wouldn't trust it. That's why I gave up on the evening session. Right. Evening session is just a little bit too tricky for me. So even right here, I wouldn't even be surprised if it wanted to fake some sellers out, right? Fake some sellers out and then go touch the first presented. Like I'm telling you guys, man, this is why you have to get rid of the evening session. You have to even just be done trying to trade the evening. Wait a minute. Holy smokes. Right. But even that right there, that could have been the sale, right? If I was in that sale, I'll be like closing right now. I'll be closing instantly because of what we just said on the 5 minute, right? We still have this gap down here on the 5 minute that we could possibly go down into, and then the market can continue to go back up. So it's just too much for me, man. It's too much uncertainty. Now watch how fast it pops right back up to where it was just at. All right, so all right, swing low, swing high. We just went into a discount zone. Definitely looking like it's just gonna pop right back up. So even if you was in that sale, I wouldn't even trust the sale right there. So like how I would trade this is like I would have to wait for something to happen with the first presented fair value gap. Like it came really close to hitting it up here, but it would be nice to sweep this liquidity up here. And then after we hit the first presented fair value gap, work up inside that wick on a 15-minute time frame. Maybe then you could find a good sell. But all of this seems like you're just going to keep getting faked out, right? If you was in a buy and you didn't take profits, now you're probably scared to hold the trade. If you're in a sell right now and you're in a little bit of profits, now you're like, maybe I should just take the profits because I don't know where it's going to go. The point is, when there's that much confusion, 10 times out of 10, it's just best to do nothing, right? It's best to just hold off and wait, right? And that's where a lot of traders are going to struggle because nobody wants to wait, right? But this inversion fair value gap right here, we're still respecting this inversion. So as long as it's respecting this inversion, I really wouldn't feel comfortable taking a sell. But I do think we could get one more sell-off before the end of the day. I just don't know how it's going to happen. But this right here, almost undoubtedly, is a fake breakaway gap, right? This is going to be undoubtedly a fake breakaway gap right here. Because if it was going to be a real breakaway gap, price would just keep going to the downside. So that's probably going to be the screen for me, you guys. I appreciate all of y'all who tuned in, dropped a like on the channel. Make sure to use code TRUCKING, you guys. I have to get ready to go. And I will see y'all in that.